Hey everyone, Kelly here with another video, and today we are going to be actually hopping onto the computer, and I am going to be showing you the behind the scenes of one of my most commonly asked questions from other photographers looking to get into the video space. So you might be wondering, what is that question? And what it is I have so many people come to me and ask how they can get their films and their videos to match the style of their photography. And there's a few things I want to say here. And the first one is, in the beginning, when you're getting started with videography, the key is to really make sure that you're getting consistent footage and well-exposed footage, your white balance is proper, and then you can move into starting to color grade and edit in a specific style that fits with your photography. The other thing to keep in mind here is that films are different than photos. So inherently it's going to look different. Things are moving, there is audio and motion, things that you don't have with a still image. So because of all of that, they are going to look slightly different. However, you can do a lot with color grading and editing, post-processing to make sure that they are cohesive. So if you're delivering both photos and a video to someone, they know that it came from the same artist, and when they're showing it, or if you're doing this for a brand, perhaps they're putting it on their website, it will look like it goes together and that everything fits visually and the cohesiveness is there. Okay, so how do we actually make this happen? How do we go from our Lightroom preset over into Premiere Pro with what they call a LUT, and that's basically like a preset for video. What you're going to do first is actually go to another website, so a third-party application. You're gonna download a file. I promise that it's safe, I've done it myself, and you get that file, you're going to take it over into Lightroom, apply your preset, and then move it over into Premiere Pro and create a LUT. So let's jump in and I'll show you how it's done. The first thing you're going to do is go down below in the description if you haven't done so already, and there's a link to this page. And this is where you will go in order to download the file that will help you take your preset in Lightroom and create what is called a LUT. And I'm learning here that it is a lookup table. So it's a file that will allow you the ability to color grade your footage so that it gives a similar look to anything that you've been editing in Lightroom. Okay, so you'll come to this page, and here they have some information. They also have a few additional videos if you have any other questions that I'm sure can be answered here. Up here, it asks you to pay for the product, which all you have to do is go and hit 0. I'm sure if you'd like to donate to this person, you could put in some money as well, but we will just go ahead and put 0 and then hit add to cart, and you'll hit no thanks on the extra offer unless that's something you're looking for. Okay, and then in here, you'll just check out with your information. It's a 0 balance, so you shouldn't have any fees coming out, and they really just need your email address to send you the file. Okay, so once you have made your purchase for $0, you can go over to your email, and there will be a link. You will go to this page and then hit download. Okay, so once you've downloaded the zip file, you need to unzip it and open it up, and then inside here you will be able to select the type of computer you have. So if you have a Windows computer, you can utilize this link or this information, and for me, I just went to the Mac option and double-clicked on this here, which opens up the LUT generator. I will say, for if some reason this file gives you any type of error, it could be because of the settings on your Mac or your computer. So you just need to make sure you go into your security settings and adjust those so that they will allow you to download and open up this file. Okay, so here we're gonna go to this generate a HALD, and that's just a file that you will then import over into Lightroom. When I clicked it, it generated the file and put it right here on my desktop, and then I've put all the files that I need for the video here in this folder. The file is right here, it's the neutral 512, and that is the file that it generated when I hit this generate a HALD file. Okay, so the next step is you wanna go over to your Premiere Pro video. And once you're here in your video, I would find a frame that, for me, what I was looking for is a frame that was pretty evenly lit and something that had skin tones in it, both the bride and the groom from the day, because I want to make sure that I'm getting the color as correct as I can, and I just think this will be a great, great fit. He also has a white shirt on, so it'll help me to adjust white balance or to at least be able to see how it looks there. So this is the scene that I'm going to use, and then I just clicked this option here for export frame. And once you do that, it will give you the option to name the frame and decide where you want it to be saved. And then you'll just click OK. And then you'll come back out here, and if you've saved it to your desktop, it'll be here on your desktop. If you've saved it into a folder, it will be here in a folder. So I just called my file Wedding 1, and that is a JPEG. And then now we're gonna go over to Lightroom, and we will import both this file and the hauled file that was generated from the LUT generator. Okay, so now we're over in Lightroom, and you can see the two files here. We have both the wedding photo or a clip from the wedding film and the file that was generated by the LUT generator. We're gonna click here to import both of those files. Okay, so now we have both the files in here. We're going to click on this one over here. And then I am just going to go over to develop, and I'm going to apply a preset. I created one just specifically for you all here, and we're gonna click this here. And so this is what I want the footage to look like. And I may adjust my white balance just a little bit, kind of play around with this to see where things are coming out. And I think that looks pretty good. So what we're gonna do here is one thing that you will want to uncheck when you export is going to be contrast. So we're just gonna bring that down. A lot of these are things you can adjust over in Premiere Pro. So when I was talking at the beginning of this video, I talked a lot about how you can get them to match. And if you aren't to the point that you want to start creating your own LUTs, or maybe you're editing in a different software, you could still utilize the settings that you have on your Lightroom files to adjust your footage over in whatever video editing software you're using. So things like exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, whites, blacks, those are going to be pretty standard depending upon what editing software you're utilizing. Most all of them are going to have a lot of these options. They also may have some more advanced options when you get into colors with shadows and the S-curve, all kinds of stuff like that. So just make sure that you are thinking this through when you are editing your videos, because a lot of times the information that you need to get your photos and your videos to match is right here in your Lightroom file, right in front of you, and you can utilize these same things when you go over to your video editing software. Now that we have the clip from the wedding ready to go, we are actually just going to synchronize the settings with the hauled file. So we will select both of them. Okay, and then we'll go over into sync settings. And then here is what you should have selected. So for the most part, this is just gonna be kind of your basic treatment of the image, and then also include some of the color as well. For the majority, most of this can stay unchecked. So we have unchecked the detail, sharpening, color, noise reduction, and clarity. Obviously any crops, effects, that's not going to transfer over. So for the most part, this is the information that we'll be going over in this file. It's looking at a lot of the colors, highlights, stuff like that. So let's click synchronize. Okay, so now you can see the color on this has shifted, and we are just going to export this file. All right, so now I'm going to export it here to my desktop. I've renamed it so that I know how to find it for my LUT I'm going to create. And then down here, I just have my settings set to this color space, and I have the quality high, resolution high, and we're gonna export that. Okay, so now I have my file here that's been exported, and I'm going to convert to a cube. So I'm gonna click this option here, and then just select the file that I just exported. Awesome. And then this pops up to tell you that everything's done successfully. So you can hit OK, you can close out of this, and then your cube file is right here, and you can store that wherever you see fit. I would obviously store it in somewhere that's going to be safe and reliable and easy to access, and I will show you how to add it into Premiere Pro. Okay, so now I'm back over in our wedding video, and I'm going to show you how to not only import the cube file, which is going to be your LUT, but also how to apply it to your footage. So here we are going to go down to New Item. You're going to click Adjustment Layer. You want it to be the same size and time base as your film. So time base is just going to be the frames per second, and then here is the quality of the video. So this is a 1080p video shot at 24 frames per second. Okay, so here you'll see the adjustment layer was created, and then I've just dropped it over onto the timeline here. So now that that is ready to go, we will pull it out to cover our footage. And then we will make sure that the adjustment layer is selected and then go over to your color panel. So up here at the top, we are in the color space. Over here on the side, you have all the tools, and then we're going to click creative. And then here, there is a drop down that says look, and you can go to browse, and you can just select that cube file from your desktop and hit open. Okay, so when it's first applied, it does look pretty harsh and intense, but what you're going to do is go down here to intensity, and we're going to bump this down to about, let's say 35, somewhere right in there, 36. So I like this a lot better. This fits a lot more with where we were over in Lightroom. I will go over to basic correction, and here I'm going to bump the contrast just a little bit, because as we saw when we were exporting it from Lightroom, the contrast doesn't transfer over. So we're going to bump that up just a little bit, and maybe a little bit less. There we go. And then exposure, I just popped up a tad bit here, and temperature, I may go through and kind of adjust clip by clip. I always like to make sure clip by clip that my white balance and my exposure look really good. So let's take a look at the rest of the video and see how this color has applied to some of the footage. Okay, so this looks great. I love the feel of it. I think it really fits the vibe from their day, and I think the colors transferred over really well. Lastly, just keep in mind that learning things like how to color grade your footage and how to match your photos and your video is something that really comes with time, and not something that you're going to be expected to know right away when you're first getting into the video space. So I think this is a great step in moving in that direction as you're learning to perfect your videos and make everything look cohesive and feel kind of like your own visual voice. If you have any questions, definitely drop them below. And if you have any other tips or tricks for people who are editing both photos and videos, let us know. Thanks so much for watching.